Hey, hello. Let's talk about the markets. It is Monday, actually, the 30th of June, the last day of the month and the last day of the quarter. And, we had a pretty strong close once again. We've talked last month in the videos about this formation right here. This big sell off on the monthly charts, a bearish candle, a nice reversal, almost like a hammer type of a candle, and then with a nice white candle equal to the one that was to the left of it right there almost, and the thought was that this will lead to further upside prices. Here we are about a month later, having a pretty decent move here in the SP500 and closing the quarter and the month to new all-time highs. The wave count remains in progress in here. We're taking a look for hunting a wave one top, and we're not gonna, again, like I said before, we're not gonna guess exactly where this ends. It seems that the market is pretty serious about continuing to push now. Mind you, the month of July, August, September, they could be very tricky in the summer months in here. We're not going to get too excited, but it's hard not to do so when you see on the quarterly chart such a strong close. I've been trying to scan for a candle similar to this one, and I just don't find any. So it's very, very it seems that it wants to be an extremely powerful candle where you're basically selling off, you do a big flush down, you have a bunch of buyers coming in or shorts covering, and you're closing exactly at the high of that candle. And this is not an ordinary chart, it's a quarterly chart that has a lot of power that can tell you there could be at least several quarters of upside strength coming in here. So we can always be wrong, of course, but based on the way this looks, the expectation is that over the next 3 months we will be higher in prices in the market. So with that being said, we will continue to follow the wave count in here and expect corrections along the way, and just kind of trade with that background in mind. Now, personally, and I'm going to talk about some stocks, I work with both long and short. So, I have a long-term account that is mostly focused on, the S&P, the Qs, where I don't really care what happens. But in my regular trading account, I have long positions and short positions. So the long ones are the ones that I continue to like, what I think there is potential, and then there is a bunch of dogs with fleas in this market too. There's a bunch of stocks that are overextended, that are weak, that are going through period of correction. So I want to be able to short those and just balance out any of the bullish stuff. So I'll show you a couple of those, and I've talked about them briefly last week too. But with the fact that we've closed pretty bullish this past month in the S&P, I will continue to have a bias towards the upside, because the expectation it is towards the upside based on what the price and the market is telling us. You will hear a bunch of arguments from the bears, right? There's not enough breadth, there is this, there is that, there's divergence. That's fine, and I don't have a problem with it until I see evidence of the price showing us that. So first of all, we get to see deterioration on the daily time frames, where we have a bunch of black candles that are creating more per se distribution, like we've talked about last week. We had several days of distribution that could have led to further sell-off. It didn't. The market came back, it got bought, and it pushed higher. So we got to listen to that. But if that happens again, we'll just have to kind of pare back and just, maybe reduce in the trading account some of those bullish positions and maybe increase the bearish ones. So it's all a kind of a fine game of being positioned the right way, and not having too much exposure on one side or the other. So anyway, that's the S&P. As the composite, again, just a beautiful setup in here that should lead to further prices. Same on a 3-month, looks pretty decent. The wave count, it's still in progress. And then we're taking a look at Dow Jones Industrial. Okay, you gotta be upgraded here. I'm not sure why this is not upgraded, but I think the monthly one it's fine. So again, a nice kind of strong close from a monthly perspective. This should lead to higher prices. Actually, Dow Jones had a pretty strong move, given how kind of has a tendency to be fairly stable. And then Russell is the one that I'm putting even more bets on because it looks pretty decent now, and it broke above some key levels. When you have a nice quarterly bullish hammer looking in here, I think that's important. And whatever happened here with this guy, this quarterly rejection followed by a bearish candle, this should have been a bearish setup for further decline. But what happened this past 3 months, they came in and they bought the market. So this in here, we can't really fully dismiss it until we're taking up these highs back here. But it does give me confidence now that I should look in the other direction. So that's on the Nasdaq, on the Russell. So let's take a look at the SOX too. Semiconductors, a very strong quarter. Closing not to new lifetime highs, but pretty close to them. Let's see how it looks on a 1 month. Just beautiful, and I think this is like a three-wave setback. Now, there are semiconductor stocks that are not that nice. I would stick probably with the ones that are kind of proven and that look good. And with the leaders, right? I would not look for kind of small or unknown semiconductor stocks because, the leaders lead for a reason in here, and even if you're in a bigger market cap, that's decent. So let's take a look at Bitcoin too, and see what's going on in there with its candles. So this is the quarterly chart, 3 month, and there is no argument here that it isn't an uptrend. And it has been since these lows back here, and you have a pretty strong quarter, then you have a couple of quarters where it just does nothing, then you have another couple of strong quarters, again you correct a little bit, couple of quarters that it does nothing, and that's a 6-month action right there, right? And then it breaks again, and now it has 1 quarter that it tried to sell off, and now it's closing to new highs almost on a quarterly basis for sure. It's going to close to new highs in here. So there's just, from this perspective, I have no arguing. There's no argument on this market. There's no reason in here. I don't see any big explosion to say, well, it's an exhaustion candle. I don't see a heavy quarter back with the black candle telling me, hey, be very careful. No, it's just a slightly, like, just a small, nice trending market doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then on the monthly, yeah, maybe I would have liked to see a bit more strength in here, but I don't have a problem with it. If you look at the 3 month and you look at the low of this candle, which is what's the low? 74,426. Using that as a low, as a defense, would be kind of my focus, and not really pay attention that much to this candle back here. When you look at the low of this one, as a protection. So we'll see what happens in here, but it's not doing anything wrong, continues to look fairly decent and good. Bitcoin in here, and in terms of the wave count, let's see if I can pull that up right here, and let's go to a 2-week, and I'm still focused on this 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. And again, if you've seen my videos, you've seen me talk about possible an extended fifth wave, or maybe a smaller wave. In here it's done, and it's not purple, but it's red instead. So this wave 2 goes here, and you already have a 1 2 3 4 and 5 with the wave 2, and you're looking for another 1 2 in here and see if we can go. Targets remain in this area, but even higher. So we have a cluster of fibs stacked out between about 147 all the way to 270. This would be my first targets, 147 to 165. See what happens there, and then I would look for 270 as a kind of a longer term, a bit of a longer term target there, but could be very well hit. So that's you know that's on Bitcoin. I mean, if on the daily time frame, I don't know, it still looks good as an ABC, and I would continue to follow along with a 61.8 retracement of this move for now, and see where that falls in at about 102, 160, 108. I would continue to be a dip buyer into that area. And yes, I would like this high to get taken out, and that would be the next signal that it's ready to go. Until that happens, just kind of moving along. All right, let me show you what I've done today and kind of where my things are. So a PLTR short. I think it's a bit exhausted, and I'm looking for a little bit of based on this candle that happened, I think it was on Friday last week. I have reason to move on the short. I mean, there is a decent chance that this is a probable landing diagonal. If it would be, we would have a pretty heavy sell-off that could, get us all the way back here. I mean, that's a big drop. I'm not gonna dream about it, and I'm not gonna be in a short all the way down there. Even if it happens, I'm not gonna be able to hang on for that long. But if I can get this somewhere back to this 50-day moving average, I'll be fine. And if we make a new high above 145, I should have to be out. But I'm looking for this 1, 2, 3, maybe a 4 and a wave 5 in here. Let's see how that goes. FTNT, I'm continuing to be long. I think I opened this position today. So, nice consolidation in here. I like it. On the weekly time frames, if you see, you have a nice ABC. You have what it looks after this candle, a nice impulse and a nice corrective wave. And right now we're breaking and closing above there, so we're looking for further upside like that in Fortinet. And then I'm still long KD. I do like this move there, and then I'm short RKLB, which is Rocket Lab. I think that's a fifth wave, and we're starting to get a bit more confirmation. I'm looking at an RSI that's losing momentum with this high, and then with this big jump and an RSI that's losing momentum, I'm looking for Rocket Lab to drop. Now, again, I'm not going to be too greedy and just look for this as some targets right there, because if you're short somewhere in this neighborhood, there's plenty, and a stop above there's plenty to be made. And then eventually maybe somewhere in this area if we can get all the way down there, but that might take a while. That's Rocket Lab. I'm short HIMS. Yeah, you could have a big ABC in here, but since we had this huge sell-off, I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, I am always inclined after a big move like that to try to short into the fibs and also into the previous zones of support that now becomes resistance. So I have a very clear stop. I'm going to use this 20-day as a little bit of a defense on a closing basis, and I'm going to be looking to see if we can get back down all the way here on HIMS. Circle still short, looking for lower prices. Amazon still long. NVTS, it's another one that it's a short position. In here, it's another one that's a semiconductor. But I mean, what is this? I don't understand it. I don't know what this chart. I mean, what semiconductor is like $6.50. I don't know much about this, but I do see the price action on the weekly that it's hitting a bunch of supply through those long tails, and I would think that some portion of this entire move has to be corrected. So if it's here or here or here, I would take anything I could get on this, and I will stay short for now. I don't have a big exit strategy, but probably above 8, I would say, get out of there. Okay, short Tesla, being short Tesla from last week, I think either Thursday or Friday, and This one, it is, I'm looking, I hope I'm recording. I think I am. What did I short it? I shorted it back here on this candle. Took a little bit of pain, not much. Or I shorted it a bit higher, something like that. Anyway, now looks good into tomorrow, but it's coming into a big support here with the moving averages. But I do think that this is, in my view, I would like to see it there. All see it. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to put the stops on any swings that we're getting. So if we're getting something like this and then we sell off, I'm going to put the stop above there. If we're getting another swing like that and go there, I'm going to put the stop above there. So we'll see how it goes and how long I can hang into a Tesla short. And then I'm also short Groupon. I don't know. Does this look like a big ABC to you in a downtrend? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I just look at this weekly candle, big rejection, and I'm thinking lower. I know we're having rising moving averages, which is a bit of a pain, but I see a big rejection at 41.26. So I'm going to continue to look for some shorting here in Groupon. A little bit more, like some kind of a percentage of this. Maybe somewhere towards there. We'll see what happens. They might kick me out. I mean, if it's going to start to threaten this area, I'm not going to like it. So that's it. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.